This is definitely one of my favourite places to come and get a bit of creative inspiration. I'm at the Frank Bruce Sculpture Trail in Inchrick Forest, close to Kincraig, and it's a really lovely trail. It's probably the best sculpture trail I've ever been on, and it's basically this guy that made all these sculptures out of wood, and what's kind of lovely about it is they're not being preserved, so as a lot of these have now fallen down in various storms, etc., and they're just being left where they are to return to nature. And I think that's a really nice concept. It's sometimes a bit of a shame when you see them and you're like, oh, that would have been lovely when it was, brand new, but I think it's a really lovely idea. So it's just nice to have a bit of peace, and I come out early. As always. It's very cold, not very spring-like, although the birds think it's spring, lots of singing. I come out early so I get the place to myself, well, me and Sky, and then I'll take her out. This is the short walk here, and then we're going to go on the longer loop. We're going to go down to the river and maybe stop for a cup of tea, depending on how cold it is, and have a wee wander around. But yeah, if you're ever in the area, this is definitely somewhere I'd recommend. It's a really beautiful place to come and visit.
In our noisy modern world, life can feel overwhelming. This is particularly the case if you're a sensitive person like myself. It makes obtaining a peaceful mind a real struggle. Although I enjoy variety in my life, I find too much stimulation exhausting and need to spend a lot of time alone. Rather than fighting this, I've accepted that this is who I am and even consider it as one of my greatest assets. Being more sensitive means I can connect with other people, animals, and the natural world on a deeper level. However, this does mean I have to be careful about how I spend my time. Over the years, I've created a quiet life, a balanced life. This means I finally found peace.
This is the most relaxed I think I felt in a while. Here's Pie. I've just been quite busy recently, which I've actually quite enjoyed. My work as a wildlife conservationist is getting busier because in the March, April are my busiest months for that job, and then trying to do this YouTube stuff along the same side, and I've got a little side project that I'm also working on that I'll be sharing with you guys soon, hopefully. Means I've just been quite busy. I also went down to London recently, which was really cool. I've only been to London once in my life. I didn't vlog it because I just didn't want to put the pressure on vlogging it, plus I know that we're all a bit more into like quiet living, nature, that kind of thing. Sky, go lay down, darling. Just being needy. But it was a very cool event. I actually was in the same room as David Attenborough for a while. It's to do with the new wildlife documentary, Wild Isles, if you've not heard of it. It's a David Attenborough documentary all about the wildlife in the UK, and it's coming out on the first episode, I think, is tomorrow, so that's Sunday the 12th, if you're interested. But anyway, that was quite big, and it was quite like I went down for just the night, so it was like a lot of travelling. And yeah, I've also felt a bit too rushed to go on longer walks with the dog, so I've been doing like short walks locally, which is still fine. I mean, she still gets out plenty because my partner takes her out as well. But yeah, I just thought this morning, okay, she's just going to come out and just be for a bit, and I've really enjoyed it. And there's actually some warmth to the sun, and honestly, sitting in the sun when it's been so cold, it's been so nice. So yeah, I sometimes forget, but being out in nature is just the ultimate cure to a busy life and how I feel most at peace. So yeah, just thought I'd share that because it's been a beautiful morning. previously shared a video on this channel about how I identified as a highly sensitive person, and I was overwhelmed with the response to that video. It seemed to grow arms and legs a bit, and so many people connected with that video and felt the same. And it was really beautiful to see all your comments and to see this community growing more and connecting more and having a safe space that we can chat about this kind of thing. And like anything, I think it's a spectrum, sensitivity, and what that means to you. For me, it means, it does come hand in hand with being an introvert, but at the same time, you can be an extrovert and also be highly sensitive, so there's no black and white with it. It essentially means that it's quite easy to get overstimulated with, lots of sensory information, etc., feeling quite tired, feeling like you need a lot of space alone to recharge. So I thought I would share some strategies that I do to kind of deal with being more of a sensitive person. And I think the first thing to do that's really, really helped me is learning to accept myself for who I am and not thinking that I have to be different to fit in or succeed or anything like that. I think accepting that I do need a bit more time alone, that I do get overstimulated quite easily, maybe compared to some other people. It's like if me and my partner are watching something and there's adverts, I ask him to mute the adverts because I find the noise of adverts really invasive, and I think that's mostly because I don't actually watch adverts a lot. I don't watch a lot of TV. I've come off social media apart from YouTube, so it's like that's one of the things that I find really, like, I can't think if there's like adverts on. So there's all these little things that I do, but yeah, accepting it first is the most important thing, and then trying to avoid unnecessary overstimulation. We can't always avoid it, but it's stuff like, again, me coming to social media is a big one, but also like I don't watch the news, which is very controversial, and my partner's sometimes like, how do you not know these things going on in the world? And I completely understand that people want to keep informed, but this is something that I've pretty much always done. Every time I've gone and sat and watched the news, I remember feeling incredibly anxious afterwards, really depressed. It is always weighted towards those negative stories, and they linger, they really linger with me. Like, I can't sit down, watch a sad story and go away and be totally fine. Like, I'll be heartbroken all day, I won't be able to sleep. So I just know what my triggers are and how I can avoid them. And it's also stuff like, I talked about this before, trying to avoid people pleasing, trying to avoid saying yes to things that actually they aren't going to serve you. And that's easier said than done, again, in a lot of ways. Some of us work and we have to do things that maybe we wouldn't necessarily choose to do in our own time, but again, it's surrounding yourself with the right people. So I have a close group of friends, and I can be myself and say, I was invited to a friend's birthday once and we didn't know each other hugely well, but I felt comfortable enough to say, actually, I'd love to see you, but not in this context. Essentially, it was like a night out in Glasgow, lots of people I didn't know. I'd be staying over at hers, and it just felt all those things were a bit much for me at that time, because it does change as well. Like sometimes stuff like that I can actually do, but at that time I didn't feel I had the energy to do that. So I just said, I'd love to go out for lunch with you, one-on-one, let's go for a nature walk, pick a nice day. And she was totally fine. She was really sweet, because she was like, I actually only invited you so you feel included. I didn't think you'd come. And I was like, oh, that's really nice that that's accepting. And most of the time people are, you just need to give them a chance. So yeah, avoid people pleasing. And then the third thing is filling my life with as much peace as possible with the kind of habits and activities I do. We've touched on this a lot on this channel, but obviously, like I said earlier, going out in nature is a really big one, but also my yoga, my meditation. My yoga, I find I stick to more. I think I actually find it easier to get into a zone when I'm moving. I struggle more with meditation, but I'm getting better, and I think that's mostly because I've been using the app Aura, and a lot of their meditations are really short, so it's a really nice way to get into meditating, and it doesn't feel too intimidating to just do a 3-minute meditation. Doesn't feel too much. But there's other things like reading for me, writing. I really want to get into journaling more and just writing for myself, because I think that would be really illuminating for me. Cooking, anything that makes me feel relaxed, and making sure I have enough of that in my life to make me feel balanced when I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed with life. But I'd love to hear your strategies. down below if you have things that you do to try and combat any overstimulation, how you avoid overstimulation. I think sharing in this community is super valuable, so I'd love to hear that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. As always, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will catch up with you guys next time.